You are listening to Shaoni, Born from the Light, by Iowan, read by Kevin M. Connolly. Chapter 34, Wounded for Life. Look at your life, the life you've lived so far. Looking back on it, is there anything you would want to change? And what if you could? As if you had a magic wand. Well, here it is. He was an old man now, and when he looked back on his life, he felt regret. Regret for all the things he had missed. Yes, life had been hard on him, so he thought. As he looked back, he tried to recall all the things that had gone wrong. He recalled being hit by his schoolteacher when he was still a young boy, hit for something that he hadn't done. Then he thought about his father, who had insulted him in front of all of his best friends. Only 13 he had been back then, yet he could recall it as if it happened yesterday. The pain and frustration still went straight to his heart. Why were people so hard on each other, he wondered. All of his life, he remembered how people had done things to him, things that had literally paralyzed him, left him feeling completely depleted and suffering. The man felt all of the old pain still raging within him, and there was nothing he could do about it. After all, he hadn't caused it. These other people had, and most of them by now had died, so he couldn't even tell them anymore, or set things straight. He thought about the things he himself had done to others. He remembered how his son had left the house when he was only just 17. There had been a big fight over something that seemed pretty unimportant now, yet at the time, he had told his son to go to hell, and as such, his son had left the house, slamming the door, never to come back. For this he was angry with his son, but even more, he was angry with himself. He remembered the time when he had ridiculed this girl. Back then, he had only just turned 17 himself. Little did he realize the impact his words might have. A few weeks later, he heard that the girl had killed herself. Was it because of the things he had said? People had tried to convince him that it wasn't, but he knew better. All of his life he had known. The mere thought of the girl and what he had done emptied him of all his energy each and every time the thought entered his mind. So now here he was, an old man, on the brink of leaving this world and his physical body behind. A man looking back one last time at the things he had done in his life. A man full of regret, regret for the things he hadn't done, and remorse for the things he had done. A man full of anger, too, anger for the things others had done to him. If only I could do it over, he thought. A tear welled up in his eyes. How long had it been since he had last cried? It was too late. It was over. Nothing he could do about it now. Exhausted, he fell asleep. He was pleased to slumber away. It wasn't a very deep sleep, but it allowed him to escape for just a moment from this harsh reality called life. His sleep, however, didn't bring him any rest, as it was filled with strange yet vivid dreams. He had only just dozed off when he saw his son, the son he hadn't seen in so long. He was doing all right. He was sitting in the garden, clearly enjoying life. A couple of children were playing around. Those were his children, that much was clear. The old man looked at the children, and as he saw them playing, he felt a rejuvenating energy flowing through his old veins. It was as if the youth, the innocence, the pure confidence in life that these children had suddenly ran through his own veins again. He looked back at his son, and only then saw a woman sitting beside him. The old man could feel the love of this woman for the man sitting beside her, a man she loved so dearly. The old man could literally feel this love as it resonated in every single of his cells. He looked at his son again, but now he felt happy. Happy for what he had accomplished in life. Happy in a way he couldn't describe. Happy for his son being happy. The old man's heart filled with joy, and as it did, he felt a wave of energy rushing through him. He woke with a shock, looking around the old room he was in. His mind was still with his son, but this time he no longer felt anger or remorse. Now, whilst looking at his son, his heart was filled with an ecstatic feeling of happiness. With this new feeling still in his heart, the man dozed off again. He had only just closed his eyes when another dream filled his whole being. This time, he saw his father standing there, just as he had more than 60 years ago, and just as back then, his father insulted him, right in front of his very same old friends. Except that this time, the dreamer didn't feel his own pain, but rather he felt the pain of the father.